So I just had this cool thing happen, or this, what could have been a not cool thing happen. And the way these handful of things unfolded was a reflection of a philosophy that I hold very dear. And in this instance, it's a relatively small thing, but I want to show you how important it is, because if you apply it across multiple parts of your life, it can help you tremendously, especially if you create in a flow in the way I do. So it started with, I was relabeling all of my drives and I pulled out my label maker. Now I've had this thing forever. And the last time or two I used it, it was giving me the little warning light, like battery low, battery low. And each time I used it, I thought, man, I really need to change that battery, because I don't want to be in the middle of a flow and have it die and then I'm going to have to stop. But I didn't do it. So I actually broke my own rule there. I didn't just replace the batteries immediately when it gave me the warning. So right in the middle of this backup project, I'm about to relabel my drives and it dies. And I go, ah. And then I think to myself, I don't remember what size batteries it takes, because I haven't done the batteries on this in forever. And I open it up and it's AAAs, but it's 6 AAAs. And I think to myself, oh man, let me go to my battery box and see if I have 6 AAAs. Because as a rule, whenever I get a battery for anything, I look at how my supply is doing. And if I'm getting into lower numbers, like 4 or less, I immediately put it on the list or order more batteries to make sure my battery supply is always up, because the last thing I want to be is in the middle of a flow and boom, oh, I need a battery for this microphone or for the label maker or whatever I need a battery for. And now it's all interrupted, and maybe I can do a workaround, or maybe I can come back to that later, but it just totally interrupts my flow. And rather than doing what I want to be doing or creating what I want to be creating, I'm running around looking for batteries, or in the more extreme cases, if you need it absolutely to do the shoot or whatever it is you're doing, now you're hopping in the car and running to the store to buy batteries. If you've just been ahead of this wouldn't have happened. So I go in there and I'm concerned, because I typically don't need 6 batteries. And I'm thinking, gosh, if I'm at my threshold, my normal 4 batteries or less, I might not have enough batteries. So I get in there and open it up, and sure enough, there's AAAs, but there's more than 6. So I reload this, get all the batteries put in, and then I put it immediately on the list. As soon as I'm done with this labeling project, I'm going to order more batteries to make sure that supply is stocked up. But this is my philosophy of staying ahead of ourselves, and it applies to so many things. In this case, it may seem relatively inconsequential. So what if your label maker quit working and you can't label that? But it's not about the thing, it's about the flow. It's about the interruption. It's about the not having what I need. So I try as hard as possible to make sure I have the things I need ahead of time. If I'm, well, for example, let me look in here. I don't know, I haven't looked. This is the label maker, but I'm gonna bet you, yep, there's 1, 2, 3, there are 4 canisters of replacement labels in here. And if I went to replace one of these and saw I only had 3, then I'd be okay. But if I was down to 2, I'd replenish them, because that's making sure that I'm going to be ahead of it. The last thing I want is to run out of labels. And I have tape in here, because these labels don't always adhere to everything. And this tape will beautifully go right across the label and allow me to tape it onto the item. Or if I'm doing multiples, I also have wider tape. Now, I have more tape elsewhere. I've got tape in the drawer right next to me on the right. I've got tape in my workshop. I've got tape in my stack of drawers out there. I have them where I need them, so I'm not running around looking for tape. And certainly, heaven forbid, one of these did run out, I've got backups. But anyways, I'm saying all that to say, also, I've got the little tabs that you put in a book so you can mark in a book. Oh, I actually have 2 tapes in here. I didn't realize there was 2 of the regular Scotch tapes in here. There's a hole punch, in case I need to hole punch stuff. There are actual cardboard tags in here if I need to tag something, and I have string in the other room. There's a piece of sandpaper, which I don't even remember. Maybe this was for roughing up a surface so that the labels would stick. That's my guess. And then I've also got these little labels that when we have parties, I put these out for people to put their names on so everyone can keep track of who's who. That is, by my book, dangerously low. I need to replenish that. So thank you for helping me remember that. There's a little pair of scissors in here in case they need to trim the labels. If it's something really thin, I can trim the excess off and really lay it in there tight. Folder labels, which I also didn't know they were in here. But point being, and this isn't my only label maker. This is my electric Dymo. I have one of the classic Dymos, the one with the punch thing with the little wheel you turn, but that's in the garage. That lives in the garage. Anyways, I'm off point here. The actual point is finding ways to stay ahead of yourself. Now this applies to your laundry, making sure that when you get a last minute invitation to an event and you go, what do I have to wear? If you're looking at a pile of stuff that should have gone to the dry cleaner weeks ago and it hasn't, it is too late. You need to be able to open your closet, grab an outfit that is ready to go, and you are out the door to that event. Whether you're performing or attending, you need to be able to just go. Being ahead of laundry, being ahead of your chores, making sure the trash is emptied so that when you go to throw stuff away when you're in the middle of the project, you're not, oh, I'm stopping to empty trash. Trying to be ahead on food, like making sure that when you get into your flow that you've got food there so you're not breaking for, I actually talk about this in my book, in the memoir that's being worked on right now, how when I was on the verge of disaster trying to make it as an entertainer, and I was learning to build websites, and I taught myself to build websites in Dreamweaver in 2 weeks. I went through the entire book, the Macromedia book that is a 12-week course. I went through it in 2 5-day blitzes, and then I sat up for basically 2 more weeks till 3, 4, 5 in the morning every night working on the website to get it done. But every morning I would wake up and I would go to this Mexican food place that was right down the road. I was broke as could be at the time, and I'd buy several burritos and a big drink, and then I would have water, and those burritos would go in the fridge, and I would just eat those burritos. It wasn't a healthy diet. I'm not saying it's a healthy diet, but point being, my provisions for the day were secured. One shot, boom, I can work all day, all night. And at the time I was working like a mad person to get the website up and get it all done. But anyways, these are all just examples. Where are the places in your life where you can get ahead of yourself? Having a spare key to your house, for your vehicle. Like if you buy your car and they only give you one of those electronic keys, I know they're expensive. I know they can be like $100 for a flipping key, but having an extra so that heaven forbid you lose it, you are not totally out of luck and unable to take your vehicle. Now, how many other things can be impacted by that? When the mail comes, I understand there's times where it piles up. Get on top of that. Anything you can do to be on top of things, ahead of things, so that when those moments of creativity strike, you are ready to roll. Making sure your computer's charged up, making sure your camera's charged up, whatever. I decided I wanted to do this video right now. My mics were on the charger, my camera had been on the charger, my new lens kit came, so I'm super excited about this. This gives me, it adjusts the depth of field on the Ace Pro so that when I'm vlogging like this, I don't get that blur. I just uploaded a video like 2 weeks ago of Noah and I on that trip to the APCA, and every shot we were blurry because, from what I understand, I'm not a camera expert, working on it, is that when you use an action cam like this, they're really set up for you to be farther away, and I'm typically working only 1.5 feet, 2 feet away. So these lens kits allow me to change the depth of field, if I'm understanding it correctly, so that I can vlog like this and not be blurry. Little steps, baby steps. Yeah, this is the other philosophy of don't be afraid of being bad at first. I'm producing the highest quality content I can for you all, and a year from now, it'll be even better. And whatever you're working on, you're gonna produce the best painting, the best glass, the best art, the best book, the best whatever it is you're doing, best show, best performance that you can right now. And a year, you're gonna be better at it. It's how we get better at it. So, hope that's useful to you. If you have one that I didn't mention, if there is something that you're oh, immediately you thought of that, I'm ahead of this, and it's really beneficial, please leave it in the comments because I would like to know. So I'm always looking for ways I can improve my flow. And second of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the YouTube channel and the Patreon and supporting on Patreon. It's, I literally couldn't do this without y'all. And if you know someone else who would benefit from it, please share it, because I need this to grow so that I can continue making this a priority and producing content for you. So thanks a bunch. Have a wonderful afternoon. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, global warming, shoot me a comment. Y'all rock.